Appreciate you taking. As we approach the crossroads of life after 60, we enter a phase of life when it is important to explore what it is and what it's important to us and to move beyond the imposed limitations. We are living longer and healthier lives. We are working and creating well into the later decades of our lives. In today's episode, I welcome an executive and personal coach who works with women over the age of 70 and who is an advocate of positive aging. In her own career, my guest has worked with women who appreciate the importance of setting a foundation in their midlife years for the impact on their professional success and personal fulfillment for the rest of their lives. So they're investing at midlife so that they can have fulfillment for the rest of their lives. Her current clients are women who run the gamut of professional and creative activities and appreciate the opportunity to let people know that they are not done yet. So please join Dr. Barbara Mark. Welcome her as we explore how so many of us are embracing a greater sense of purpose or calling. And Barbara will share her wisdom and insights on how we ensure ageism does not stop us and why it's important for us to engage in healthy conversations about aging. Welcome, Dr. Barbara Mark. How are you today?
I'm well, Patricia. Thank you. Good afternoon. I hope you're well today.
Yes, very well. Thank you. So please share your insight on how we need to stop allowing ageism, or how we need to stop ageism from stopping us from what we want to do. So we don't want to allow that. Tell us a little more about that.
Well, there's a history in our country, I think, as most people are aware, of a cult of youth, and beauty. And for so many generations, women have been plagued, I will say, by the notion that as they age, they're less valuable.
Mm-hmm.
And many women experience ageism in their own families. They experience ageism certainly in the workplace. They see ageism in our popular culture. And it's so very important that as we move into this wonderful age of positive aging, and there were so many proponents and advocates of positive aging, that as we mature, we bring with us life experience, institutional knowledge, wisdom gained of lifelong experiences and sadnesses and joys that make up all of who we are.
Mm-hmm. So the whole gamut, right? We bring it all together.
Yes.
You speak about internal and external ageism. Can you give us a little more information on how you look at internal ageism and external ageism?
A lot of us, particularly women my age, and I'm in my 70s at this point, again, have lived in a culture where aging was, hi, Henry, aging was a joke, if you
Yeah.
will. I mean, it was made fun of a lot. And so a lot of us internalize the idea that as we get older, we get used to being invisible. We get used to people assuming that we're, less cognitively capable than maybe we would be in the past. Certainly less cognitively capable than our younger peers. And so we internalize that feeling. I was just sharing with you, Patricia, earlier that I found myself at one point a few years ago using the term senior moment when I had a brain cramp, and I stopped in my tracks and said, oh, no, 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 no. Oh, no, no. And so when we are aware of our own notion that we're older, therefore we can't do XYZ. We're older, therefore we're not going to be included in XYZ events, or not going to be perceived as someone who is contributive to various areas. And that bounces back and forth between our internal limitations and external limitations. Again, we've grown up in a culture that is it's an adoration of youth and beauty, a celebration of youth and beauty. And as we mature, particularly as women, it's gendered ageism for
Yes.
sure,
Yes.
that culture limits us. And so, certainly, gendered ageism in the workplace, women are not considered important contributors when they get past a certain age.
Hmm.
And so, we need to be fighting that in terms of our own actions, in terms of our own embrace of our own capacities, and celebrate the skills that we bring to the world, whether those are skills that we use in a workplace or skills that we use in a social environment or an artistic environment.
Hmm. Hmm. To your point about taking it internally, I find it very interesting when we're talking about beauty and youth, even to drop the youth off. Even women, as we age, are still, uh, I guess you'd say, our value from the external world is that there's still some, we have to be beautiful. We have to be present ourselves as beautiful, as though that's the only value or the only thing that people find valuable about us, right? And it's the same with even around sexuality or sensuality. Uh, I notice there's a lot of external messages right now about older women being beautiful and sexy. Like, why are those two things so important to be to set a value on our lives?
Uh, in my humble opinion, it's because, again, American culture uh, grew up on the foundation that women were objects.
Objects, yes, yes.
Women were objects of their husbands or their male family members, and certainly we know that we were not allowed to vote
Mm-hmm.
or express ourselves. And so, over the years, women have really fought to get that recognition, but there still is in our again very youth oriented culture a demand for women to uh, be beautiful things to look at,
Yes, yeah, to be possessions
to
or
be
yeah,
possessions,
to
to
be
be,
admired for that. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
I'm finding that very troubling lately because we have some icons, women who have been very successful, who are still successful, but they're still rated on how they're perceived for beauty and sexuality, and that is that external ageism coming back to bite us again, right? When we take that
yes,
internally, and it does give us a different view of what our limitations and capacities are within that framework, right? There's
right,
nothing
right.
outside that framework that we feel is valuable to our society when it's completely opposite to that. So how does that relate to your message about limitations should not be imposed on us by others?
I think it begins with how we embrace ourselves. When we really embrace our sense of who we are, what
Mhm.
we've accomplished in our lives, regardless of what those accomplishments have been, and embrace our vitality and our joys and
Mhm.
our lust for life, and find in ourselves less of a need for that external validation, that external male gaze, if you will. And I I applaud, I would say, probably Sports Illustrated for putting Martha Stewart on the cover. However, how was she represented? She was represented in a sexual way, the way Sports Illustrated does.
Yeah.
And so we're we're caught in this dichotomy of the current trend, which I think is a wonderful trend that's been around now for 5+ years, of really allowing women to embrace and express who they are as they want to, allowing our hair to get the color that it gets as we mature as human beings as a natural process.
Just a
Uh,
beautiful color. It's a
just a
beautiful
beautiful
color.
color. Exactly, exactly. To dress stylishly, feel really comfortable and confident in our own skin. And we're getting a lot of that in the current anti-ageism uh, movement that has really gained popularity and power,
Mm,
such that now advertisers are finally getting that if they represent older women or our elders in a positive light, those women who hold the purse strings, we have accumulated wealth, we have discretionary wealth, we have 80% of the economic decisions of the household.
mhm, mhm.
And so advertisers are kind of getting the point that, we need to embrace this cohort
Mhm.
of very influential women.
Yeah, and there's a hidden influence that we have as well, right? That I think we're beginning to influence younger women more so as well, because they now have role models of women who are over 60 and 70 who are not the picture of what they had when, or what we had when we were much younger. So they see that it doesn't necessarily have to be invisible, or we do have a lot of power over the economics and actually contributing to our communities financially and in the wisdom that we have. So I think we're also very good role models for the younger women that are coming up as well.
I absolutely agree, Patricia. I think that's a really wonderful point.
Mm.
Yes, I do remember my grandmother at the age I am now. And she looked like, sort of what was at that time the stereotypical old woman.
Yes.
She dressed well, but, she wore her age
Mm.
in a particular way that was appropriate to the times. And it's just really interesting. Again, part of it is we've got better healthcare. We're aging more healthily, as you mentioned in your intro. We have better healthcare, better access to healthcare. The most of us, I would say, not all of us, those that are blessed to have that access, and privileged to have that access, I
Mhm.
will say. But we're living longer, healthier lives, and therefore we feel more vibrant. Therefore, we present ourselves more vibrantly,
Yes.
and younger women see us in active positions. Women doing marathons, well into their 60s and 70s. Women doing yoga well into their 100th year.
Mhm.
Women in politics who are well into their senior decades. A lot of representation that as we age, boy, there's a lot we can contribute and a lot that we can do to really enjoy our lives.
Yeah. You talked about vibrancy and you talked about wearing age. It would be a step forward, I think, if we wore our vibrancy, like, rather than, us thinking about how we are aging, is just show how vibrant we are at any age. Awesome at
Mhm.
any age that I talk about. Yeah.
Right.
So talking about aging helps us to understand how we own our own self imposed limitations. Could you talk about how we can move past them so that we actually do enjoy our lives and we do feel vibrant and we wear our vibrancy?
Yes, yes. Um, it really begins with an internal conversation, giving ourselves permission to ask ourselves, what is it we love? What is it that brings us joy? What is it that makes us feel alive? And I have so many women that I work with and have worked with in the past who are really discovering new parts of themselves that maybe they had let go of earlier.
Yeah.
And they're revisiting that and saying, okay, well, I've kind of done my career. Now I want to do something really exciting in a different way. Or they're in their careers still and saying, I've got more I want to contribute to this particular area, this particular industry, this particular social benefit. And it's I think if we give ourselves permission to feel that, then we begin to act as we feel
Yeah.
and put ourselves out there in a way that maybe we haven't given ourselves. Maybe there are moments we haven't given ourselves permission where we've questioned, can I really move forward? Is it time to, put myself out to pasture?
Yeah.
And women more and more these days are saying, no, no, I'm still out there. I'm still vibrant. I'm still
Mhm.
active.
Mhm. Mhm. Yes, it does sadden me when I hear and read about some people saying that they do feel invisible. Um, I think in that case, they have taken some of the, they've internalized some of the ageism talk about
Yes.
you become invisible. I remember the first time I heard that from a family member that she felt that women over the age of 60 become invisible. And I thought, I don't feel invisible. Like, but I think it's because I stay engaged. And even though sometimes I do get enraged by current conversations about ageism, I think these conversations that we have are healthy just to expose some of the myths about aging and cautioning women not to internalize that.
Right.
These have been jokes that always seems to be jokes about women's phases of life, but this is not a joke. This is our life, and we want to live it the best. I don't want to pass your comment about the women that you're working with. Is it possible for you to give an example of a woman that you have worked with after the age of 60? And what are they looking at?
Mm. Uh, I have got so many clients that I could reference right now. One in particular that I really, really enjoy working with is a woman who was in the publishing industry for a long period of time on an administrative side. She wasn't an editor or surveying materials for publication, but she was adjacent to those people who were doing that. And now, in her 82nd year, she's finishing up a memoir that she's been working on and submits several pieces that are based on that for publication. She's acquired an editor now. And in our last session, which was actually yesterday afternoon, she talked about, okay, so when I finish this book, I've already begun making notes for my second book, which will be a novel.
Oh,
And so she's planning on moving on. Another woman who was in the real estate industry for an extended period of time. Prior to that, she was an elementary school teacher, and she reached a point in her real estate business where she decided she was just tired of sales and really wanted to give back in some way that was significant and consistent with the skills and the passion that she had. So she went and got herself certified as a parenting coach. And I suggested to her, you might want to put yourself out there as a grandparenting coach as well,
yeah.
because I think that, more grandparents are actively involved in their grandchildren's lives. And so she's doing that. And she is close to 80 at this point.
Mhm.
And it's very exciting to watch women do these things. A client that I worked with in the past who worked in the finance industry, she was in banking, and when she was in her very late 70s, she decided to leave the position that she was in and join a smaller group of people who were opening their small independent investment firm.
Oh,
And as far as I know, she's still doing that. I haven't had contact with her for a little bit. But women are uh, women are smart, women are engaged, women are intrigued, and they definitely want to continue to contribute
Hmm.
in some way, contribute, bring their gifts to the world.
Hmm. And in all of those examples, you showed that your clients were expanding their scope, really, like parenting coach to grandparenting coach. So, with her experience, she's able to widen her scope, which I think is benefiting more people. So, I think
Hmm.
that's even better. So,
Right,
yeah.
right.
So, Barbara, please share a pivotal moment in your life when you recognized what engagement and what fulfillment looked like for you.
Oh gosh, I have. Oh, it's such a hysterical, actually pivotal moment. Um, for many decades, I've worked with women in midlife. I still do. It was a personal passion, an academic passion to understand the stages of midlife development, the 5 unique stages, and looking at how those stages impact a woman's career development.
Mhm.
And so for women, those 5 stages of midlife development are unique to men, partly because of menopause and partly because of the cultural environment that we find ourselves in as women. And a couple of years ago, I was sitting having a conversation with someone. It might have been my husband. I can't remember exactly who it was I was speaking with, but it occurred to me, oh, by my own definition, I'm no longer in midlife. And so I was thinking about what is it I really want to be doing with this part of my life, in addition to the work that I will continue to do in terms of coaching and consulting with women. And I all of a sudden said, I'm going back to photography. And photography has been my love and my passion for so many years in my life, but I put it on the back burner because I was developing my career in a direction that was not inclusive of
Mhm.
photography. And so now I'm developing my fine art photography. And I'm having such a good time. It brings such joy to my life. It brings such sense of relaxation. It brings that beauty back into my life that I was
Mhm.
always seeking out with my camera.
Mhm.
And so it really has added a whole new chapter to what's happening in my life right now. It's very exciting.
And it's great that you're able to bring that in to your professional life as well by speaking to other women, coaching them about finding those same things that you left on the back burner when you were 9, 10 years old, and now bring them forward, right? So
Right,
yeah, I
right.
think that's great.
Yes.
So how could our audience reach you and let us know a little more about what's going on for you as far as programs are concerned?
Um, I have 2 websites, one for women in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. And again, this is the work I do with women in midlife, and that's called A Time of My Own. So that is a timeofmyown.com. And then I also have this new project that I'm really engaging in now, which is called Restless Ambition, and that is restless-ambition.com. And that grew out of many conversations I had with friends and colleagues of mine who said, I'm hitting 70, I'm hitting 80, I'm kind of restless, I'm not done yet. I really want to be doing something more and contributing, or continue to contribute.
Uh,
Um, and
mhm.
so I can be reached right now at Barbara at a time of my own. And I welcome questions. I welcome inquiries. People ping me all the time just for a quick question or maybe a pep talk about something.
Yeah, I'll be very happy to put that in the show notes so that people have access to the links and to your email. And I think that restless ambition, that's a great branding of an issue, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's,
yeah, it was
yeah,
a
I mean,
fun
we're
one.
still restless, or we still want to do some things. Yeah.
Yes,
So,
yeah.
Barbara, is there anything else that you'd like to share today?
I think the only thing is really inviting women to uh, really enjoy who they are, really enjoy their lives. Some of us are healthier than others, and so we have different capacities. We have more capacities. Some of us have fewer. But wherever we are in our lives, in terms of our individual pursuits and our individual capacities, to really live life fully and enjoy the heck out of it.
Enjoy the heck out of it. Yeah, there's so much joy in honoring our restless ambition. That's why I love that branded program. While we're enjoying more time for leisure and relaxation, actually, we are able to do that as well. We can pursue our passion, our ambition, whatever, and still find time for leisure and relaxation. So I'd like to invite everyone who is watching today to contact Barbara to explore strategies and experience your restless ambition or the solution to it. Barbara's clients, again, run the gamut of professional and creative activities, and they appreciate the opportunity to let us all know that they're not done yet. So thank you to my audience and to Barbara's followers. I'd like to invite everyone to join me each week as I interview other women and thought leaders like Barbara, and to find out more about fulfillment and joy after 60, after 70, into the 80s and 90s. Sometimes the topic is around fulfillment after 60, and other times it's a topic about returning to work during and after cancer treatment. It's our ability to share and receive wisdom that's crucial in living the life that includes doing what we want to do. So thank you very much. Please visit me on the website at patriciamuir.com. Read the Encore weekly blog at patriciamuir.com/blog and subscribe to my newsletter. I'd love to see you there. Thank you, Barbara, for your insights. I'll be mentioning your insights in this week's newsletter because Barbara's wisdom and her advocacy around positive aging is critical to maintaining our healthy awareness of wellness and purpose in our life and work. Thank you.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Patricia.
It's been my pleasure.